Before I get started with today's basketball topics, I wanted to offer a little bit of transparency to people who have subscribed to my channel, and day one subscribers know that I have no problem talking about non-basketball related stuff on this channel. And if you roll your eyes at this comment, or, are one of those, just stick to basketball or whatever, this isn't the channel for you. So you could go ahead and unsubscribe, or you could skip ahead to the basketball content. But I will always be fully transparent on my channel. The videos have been slow churning since the summer. Not as locked in as I want to, because there's just bigger stuff going on in the world right now. Had an election last week. Didn't go how I wanted it to go. And I would leave it at that, but that's not being honest enough. It has been one of those things where my headspace has been up and down, anxiety, not as locked in to the season as I want to be. Not that I haven't been watching the games, not that I haven't been taking notes and trying to churn out videos, but there's just bigger things going on in the world right now that I have been preoccupied with, where basketball honestly just felt secondary to me, as much as I want to build this channel. But the results are what they are. Life moves on. Basketball is a nice escape. It's a beautiful sport, and I will continue to talk about it. The videos will come out more frequently now, especially now that this is all over. I guess that's the one good thing about it. But just wanted to be completely transparent, and fuck the incoming administration and anyone who stands with them, and I stand on that. And if that bothers you, like I said, the unsubscribe button is right there, or you can just ignore my videos. I really don't give a shit, but I said what I said, and I'm standing on it. But the dread has been one of the reasons why the videos have not been as frequent as they have been in the past. As much as I've wanted to try to preview the season and stuff like that, and I dropped a few videos, not to the frequency that I want to, but like I said, life rolls on. It's time to get started with the videos. It's been a fun season so far, and I did a week 1 overreaction video, so this is kind of a combined week 2 and week 3 type of video, and then of course more videos will hopefully come down the pike soon. But just wanted to offer a little bit of transparency, because I know I have some listeners and commenters that comment on every video, and I appreciate y'all for that. But let's just get started with the first topic. The undefeated Cleveland Cavaliers at 12-0, soon to be 13-0 tonight when they play the Sixers without Joel Embiid and Paul George. But I wanted to talk specifically about Evan Mobley. If you guys listen to this channel, you know I'm high on Evan Mobley. I am high on him as a defensive just monster. And offensively, I think there is still a lot to uncover there. And also Darius Garland, who I'll touch on for a little bit later on. But Evan Mobley specifically having the best season of his career, over 18 points a game, nearly 9 rebounds a game. But Kenny Atkinson, replacing JB Bickerstaff as the head coach, has done wonders for the Cavaliers. He is running stuff through Mobley. This is Mobley's highest usage rate of his career, and it's not even close. I remember I made a video back in the 2022-23 season. There was like a month in January where the Cavaliers were really leaning into Evan Mobley as the hub, doing DHOs with Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell and being aggressive, and they have leaned all the way into it this time. Mobley's taking people off the dribble more often. He's shooting the 3-ball more often. Though he's shooting 33%, I like that he is still taking nearly 2 attempts per game. Of course, he's still a defensive monster. The chemistry with Garland and Donovan Mitchell in the pick and roll is still there, but he is initiating more on offense. And this has been a trend that I have been talking about for the last few seasons now, where teams want to get bigs that they can use as a hub, as a different way to run offense, as opposed to, here, Donovan Mitchell, let's do pick and roll, high pick and roll. Darius Garland, high pick and roll, high pick and roll. There's multiple ways to initiate offense, and the Cavs have a diversified portfolio now offensively. Kenny Atkinson has also re-unlocked Darius Garland, who a lot of people weirdly sold their stock last year, even though Darius Garland had a fucking broken face and lost 15 pounds because of that, and really just didn't look the same after that. This is the Darius Garland of 2 seasons ago, where you're like, this is one of the up-and-coming young point guards in the NBA. He's being used more off ball. He's like a third option, but not really a third option because his movement, his shooting, his ability to attack off the dribble, defensively, he's been awesome this year, I think. Just all that put together has really boosted the Cavaliers in a way where he's just really indispensable for this team. And they haven't even had Max Strus back yet. Jarrett Allen never misses a shot. Donovan Mitchell, his scoring might be down, but his efficiency is still up. It's a more diverse offense, and I think the Cavaliers have benefited from that, but it's really been the evolution of Evan Mobley, and that's going to be the golden ticket going forward as this Cavs team evolves over the next few seasons. All right, it's time to sound the alarm on the Milwaukee Bucks, and I know they won last night in their group play against the Toronto Raptors, but they've been a bad team all year so far, and is 11 games in, but I don't see any of the problems that they have displayed so far to open the year. I don't see those problems getting any better. They look old. They look slow defensively on the perimeter, despite Giannis putting up fantastic numbers once again. And Damian Lillard has been better this year compared to last year, but the vets look bad, including Brook Lopez, who has been looking bad for the last week and a half or so. Their offense is bad. Their defensive rating is not good once again. Across the board, it just looks bad. Aside from the first game against a Joel Embiid-less and Paul George-less Sixers, the Bucks offense looked like it was moving the ball. There was crisp cutting and stuff like that. And that's just not been there. It just makes you wonder what changes could be made. I mean, Gary Trent Jr. so far has not been playing well, and now he's hurt. Taurean Prince is really the only quote-unquote steady vet on the team. Pat Connaughton's been not good. AJ Green should be definitely getting some playing time over him. I was listening to an episode of the Eurostep podcast. It's a really good Bucks-centric podcast hosted by Ty Windish and Rohan Kadi, and they compared the problems the Bucks have to a game of whack-a-mole, where one game, it's this set of problems. Then in the next game, it's this set of problems. And look, they've had some unlucky losses, like they lost by 3 to the Cavaliers, and then they lost to the Cavaliers again on a Donovan Mitchell buzzer beater, basically, or a game winner. But this team is supposed to be a contender. You have Giannis and Damian Lillard on the same team, and I know Chris Middleton hasn't been back, but they should not be this bad. They should not be in contention for the worst record in the NBA. Now, the saving grace is, of course, the East has been terrible. There's been a lot of injuries, and it's just a huge clump from seeds 3 through 10, 3 through 12, basically. But this is bad. I'm not going to place all the blame on Doc Rivers, but the Bucks really should have just stuck it out with Adrian Griffin last year, because if you look at the coaching hires over the summer that have been made that seem to be home runs so far, the Bucks are probably looking like they missed out on that. Now let's talk about the team I am bullish on the most, the Memphis Grizzlies. And specifically, they have done it again. They have found rotation players via the draft, via two-way contracts or undrafted shit. I don't know how they do it, but stop me if you heard this before. The 7-4 Grizzlies, currently without Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, and Marcus Smart, are finding guys to plug and play. And rookies like Jalen Wells has been playing great, 6'8", can shoot 39% from 3, has been playing great in the starting role. Scottie Pippen Jr., who played towards the end of last season and has been great for the Grizzlies this year. 6.5 assists per game, 12 points, awesome defense, and also has a little bit of motherfucker in him because they played the Lakers, blew them out, and Scottie Pippen Jr. made it well known that he was circling that game on his calendar. They actually play the Lakers again tonight, funny enough. Jake LaRavia, taking another step this year as a 6'8" big ball handler that can shoot 39% from 3. Zach Kleiman's type of guy. Zach Kleiman just knows how to draft. That entire Grizzlies front office just knows where to find players, whether it's undrafted, two-way, or the actual draft. And these guys, once again, are getting valuable playing experience. Of course, you can't forget Zach Edey, but he's a lottery pick. We all knew the Grizzlies were probably going to take him if he fell to that spot, and he's been awesome too. The Grizzlies now just have a lot of players. Once everybody's healthy, stop me if you heard that before, there's going to be a whole lot of depth on this team. I didn't even mention Vince Williams Jr., who I did a video on last year and hasn't played yet this year. That guy's awesome. I cannot wait to see a fully healthy Grizzlies team because they are good still. 7-4, top 5 defense, top 5 offense, hitting the marks that they have hit when the Grizzlies were healthy as recent as 2 seasons ago. I'm telling y'all, man, this Grizzlies team is really, really fucking good. And when everybody's healthy, there's going to be a lot of depth and a lot of players coming at teams in waves. All right, Cade Cunningham fanatics, hop in. We're going to talk about him and the Detroit Pistons, who are 5-7, look like they have multiple adults in the room now compared to last year. And Cade Cunningham is no longer operating in a phone booth. Thank you, God. He's got shooters. He's got players that could score a little bit for him. It is hilarious as a Sixer fan to see Pistons fans turn on Tobias Harris immediately, but I'm sure he'll figure some stuff out and will be useful. I think as somebody who is a scorer a little bit, he could take some pressure off Cade, but the main point is Cade has shooters. He has multiple ball handlers around him. Jaden Ivey, I think, has been awesome to start the year. Really fucking weird that Monty Williams just had this vendetta against Ivey, it appeared. But he's been awesome. Jalen Duren, still young and raw. Would like to see him be a lot better defensively, but I still like him a lot. But you have Fontecchio, Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley. You just have more spacing around Cade Cunningham now, and we are seeing just how talented this guy is as the number 1 option. I mean, the guy is averaging nearly 23, 7, and 8 assists per game. He has a very high usage. I think he's like at a 33% usage rate, which is in the 100th percentile per cleaning the glass. And it's paying dividends. Remember, this is effectively Cade Cunningham's 3rd year, because his 2nd year he only played 12 games when he was dealing with all those shin problems. And we are just now seeing him come to his own. And now that he has adults in the room, you help out your number 1 pick in whatever way you can so you can make sure you get the proper return on investment. And this man was operating in a phone booth last year, dog. Like a phone booth. And now he's not. And he's able to dissect defenses. He's always been a really good passer. Would like to see that 3-pointer go up a little bit, but that just tells me he's aggressive. He has that pull-up 3-pointer in his bag and will be more accurate as his career goes on. But shout out to the Pistons. I know 5-7 doesn't feel like something you should celebrate, but when you're on track for 34 wins is a lot more than 18 wins from last season. All right, held the last one off on purpose because you guys know this team, and Steph Curry specifically, are my swan song. The Golden State Warriors are fucking back. It is hilarious that the one season that I am not bullish on the Warriors in the Steph Curry era, this fucking team goes and reinvents itself and is now an elite team. And it's very different from the Warriors of yesteryear. Obviously, no Klay Thompson. By the way, what a great game last night between the Warriors and the Mavericks. Stephen Curry still fucking doing it at 36 years old. But they did not have Steph Curry for a few games, and the Warriors still ended up winning some games. But this team has reinvented itself with a 12-man rotation, a 13-man rotation sometimes. No player is averaging above 30 minutes right now, I believe. And they are destroying teams defensively. The offense, it's still, when you look at the Warriors' offense, it's the classic stats they lead the NBA in, or at least top 3 in. They run a lot of DHOs. They do a lot of off-ball cutting. They do a lot of player movement, ball movement, and it's just slightly different compared to when it was Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green there. There is still cutting. There is still movement. There's still player movement, but it's clear that Steve Kerr made a few alterations. They're going to launch more threes. They're going to play as fast as possible, and different players initiate the offense within the cutting and the motion and the classic stuff the Warriors like to run. Jonathan Kuminga and Andrew Wiggins operating at the top of the key. Andrew Wiggins playing point forward sometimes, Kyle Anderson playing point forward, DeAnthony Melton being a ball handler. Of course, Draymond Green still initiates a lot of the offense, as well as Steph Curry. They just have multiple attack points now. And then you add Buddy Hield, who I've lived in Sacramento since 2017. I've watched a lot of Kings games, watched a lot of Buddy Hield games, covered some Kings games, and covered Buddy Hield games, obviously. This is the happiest I have seen Buddy Hield in a basketball situation, and it is not even close. He looks like he died and went straight to basketball heaven. He is launching threes from all over the place. That release is quicker than what it was in the past. I'm sure he got some tips from Steph Curry on how to get that shot off faster, but he has provided a facsimile of what Klay Thompson's shooting gravity did for the Warriors, along with having Steph Curry's gravity on the floor. Just, you have to be preoccupied with two absolute deadly shooters, and that opens everything else up. It opens up Draymond Green lobbing stuff to Trace Jackson Davis, lobbing stuff to Kevon Looney, who will catch it, land on the ground, and then go back up for a layup. They're crashing the glass. The crazy thing about this Warriors offense is they're usually a turnover-prone team. We have known all their teams like to throw the ball all over the gym. They're not turning the ball over a lot this year. This team has evolved, and then defensively, they have all types of defenders. You got your point of attack defenders with Moses Moody, with DeAnthony Melton. You have your big wing defenders with Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Jonathan Kuminga. Kyle Anderson can defend some as well, even though he's slow as hell. Obviously, Kevon Looney and Trace Jackson Davis. And Stephen Curry also. I've always thought Stephen Curry was an underrated defender, but he has really stepped it up so far this year. And the Warriors are now 9-2. I had this team as a 9th or a 10th seed. I need to look at my Western Conference preseason tier list again. But this team is back. Now, do I buy it in a deep playoff run? I do think the lack of a secondary ball handling shot creator could hurt the Warriors in the playoffs, because we have seen repeatedly in the playoffs, you need a lot of those guys, because if one main guy gets shut down, where are you going to go to? So that's my only hang up with the Warriors. But make no mistake about it, this team is back. And when you have Stephen Curry at the helm and Draymond Green still playing elite defense, also kind of answering the hyperbolic questions that people always love to ask about Draymond Green. Well, what happens when the team is different and he doesn't have Klay Thompson and Steph Curry? He still has Steph Curry, but Draymond Green is still clearly the second best player on the team, and he's still an elite defender. As long as they have those two, they have a shot against anybody in the Western Conference. But they're legit. How legit? We'll see as the season goes.